everyone. Welcome to Balance Basics. This is a class that is centered around balance, stability, and strength in the core, which encompasses abdominals, pelvic floor, and lower back, as well as the legs, and will also focus on mobility of hips, knees, and ankles. You'll need a chair with a back on it like this one, or if you don't have a chair with a back, you can do these exercises maybe next to your counter or the back of your sofa, or even a dresser. Anything at all that you can rest your hand on for a sense of safety, a little bit of security. We're going to be doing quite a few single leg exercises, and I want you to feel steady and safe, and certainly don't want you to fall or lose your balance if at all possible. We're going to begin, when you're ready, by standing up nice and tall, rolling the shoulders back a few times. Find a tall posture with shoulders over the hips and ears over the shoulders. Take a big deep breath in and out. Notice if your knees tend to lock out in this standing position. If so, add a little softness to the knee joints. When the knees are locked, it feels like they're pressing back, and it can feel quite tight or kind of strained in the back of the knee. So if you can, just find a little bit of bounce, a little bit of softness in the knee joint. I've heard this described as the thighs pressing back while the shins press forward. So if that's helpful to you, you can think about those kind of opposite movements in the lower body to unlock the knee joints. When you find a nice, tall, steady posture, go ahead and take one of your hands to the top of your chair. We're going to lift the right ankle and circle it. Take your time here. All of the movements that we perform in Balance Basics are going to be done relatively slowly. We want deliberate, slow movement as opposed to that fast, kind of heart pumping movement we might experience in a cardio class. If you haven't already, switch directions of your ankle circle so you're sure to go both ways. And then take a few point and flex movements, pointing the toes down towards the floor and then lifting them up towards the ceiling, maybe 2 or 3 times. Good, relax your right foot back down to the floor, and we'll shift the weight, bringing the left foot up and circling that ankle. So notice here if your hand is on your chair or your dresser or whatever it might be resting on, are you leaning over in that direction or just kind of using the chair for a little security, safety thing? Do your best not to put your body weight on the chair, but rather just kind of have it there just in case. Again, be sure to go in both directions with these ankle circles on the left side, and then a few point and flex, maybe 2 or 3 of those. Ankle mobility is so important for stability, walking up steps, changing direction, etc. Go ahead and place that left foot down. We're going to find a little pelvic tilt here. I'm going to turn to this side so you can see a little bit better how the pelvic tilt works. This movement's going to come right from the top of the pelvic bowl. We're just warming up the low back, the abdominals, and the hips here. So bring the palms of the hands to the front of your thighs, and we're going to tilt the pelvis forward. So that kind of feels like you're sticking your bottom out as you tilt the pelvic bowl down towards the floor. And then roll the shoulders back. Maybe you lift the chin away from the chest. Then find the opposite movement, pulling the tail between the legs here, or tilting the pelvis posteriorly, rounding the shoulders and pulling the chin to the chest. So tilting the pelvis forward, opening up the low back, and then tucking the pelvis under and dropping the chin. Do that 1 or 2 more times. Good, nice and slow. Good, go ahead and stand up tall, roll those shoulders down and back. Stack shoulders over hips and ears over shoulders. So you're standing solid, very confident, strong, steady posture here. We're gonna shift the weight over to your left leg. Your left hand can rest on your chair. Tippy toe the right foot. Point the knee and the toes of that right foot forward. And then we're just gonna stretch that foot out in front of you. Stretch it out to the side and take it back behind you. Bring it back to center, reset. Reach out in front, out to the side, and behind you. Reset, front, side, and back. Reset, one more time, front, side, and back. Good job. This time we're gonna make a sweeping motion. Front, sweep around to the side, and then sweep to the back. Reset, front, sweep to the side, sweep to the back, reset, front, side, back, reset, one more time, front, side, back. Great job. Set that right foot down. Go ahead and move over to the other side of your chair. You might need to adjust your chair a little bit. And we're going to shift the weight over to the right foot now, lifting the left foot. Tap that left foot, front, side, back, reset, front, side, back, reset, front, side, back, reset, front, side, back, and reset. Coming into that sweep, front, sweep out to the side, all the way to the back, reset, sweep front, side, back, reset. Trying not to touch the floor with that left foot all the way around. Good. One more, front, side, back, reset. Place that left foot down. Come back over to the other side of your chair. Adjust as needed. Be sure you have enough room here to move in all directions, forward and back, and then out to the side. Good. We're going to shift the weight to your left foot. Stand up tall, lift your right knee, and we're simply gonna lift and lower. Now you can tap the foot each time, or for a little more challenge, don't touch the floor as you lower that right foot down. Good. We'll do one more of these. Good. And then we're gonna lift and hold. So standing on just your left leg, right knee is lifted. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Now we're gonna rotate that right knee out to the right. Open and close. Open and close. Good. Just go as far as feels good to you in that right hip. One more. Open and close. Great job. We're gonna lengthen that right leg down towards the floor, but try not to touch the floor with your right foot. And then we're going to reach that right foot out to the side, away from your left leg. So out and in. Out and in. Out and in. One more. Good job. Out and in. Super job. Go ahead and put that right foot down. Pedal out the feet. You'll notice that felt pretty warm in the left hip, the standing leg. That muscle is doing a lot of work, a lot of stabilizing as we work on mobility in the right hip, stability in the left hip. And don't worry, we're gonna do the other side so they get even. From here, before we move over to the other side, we're gonna take the feet hips width apart, toes facing forward, and we're gonna just come up onto the tippy toes. Feel free to use your chair a little bit here for just, again, a safety net. Tippy toe hold, and lower back down nice and slow. Tippy toe hold, lower back down nice and slow. 2 more like that. Reach up, hold here, good. Lower down. 1 more, reach up, and lower down, good. Now coming the opposite way. This one's really tricky to me. So soften your knees, shift your weight back onto your heels, lifting the front part of the feet off the floor, and then lower back down. Shift the weight back, and then lower down. Good, 2 more like that. Come onto the heels, lift the toes, lower back down, and 1 more. Lift, and lower. Whew. Good job. Come on around to the other side of your chair. Shift your weight to your right foot. Right hip in line with the left hip. Right knee and toes of that right foot facing forward. So the pelvis is neutral here. We want to try to avoid any tilting or rotation of the pelvis as best we can. So a nice stable foundation here. We're just going to lift left knee, lift and lower. Again, maybe you tap the toes each time to the floor, or maybe you just stop 1/2 of an inch off of the floor so you don't touch at all. That's up to you, whatever feels good. Good job, 1 more like that. Then we're gonna lift and hold and take a deep breath. Good. Now we're gonna open left knee out to the left, rotate, and then come back in. Again, just go as far as feels good. There's a natural stopping point, and you stop there. Don't try to force past that. 2 more, open and close. Take your time. Are you still standing up nice and tall here? 1 more, great job. All right, remember we're gonna extend the leg down towards the floor, but try not to touch, and then open out to the side. Out and in, good. Out and in. The toes of your left foot are still facing forward, so the toes don't rotate up towards the ceiling if you can help it. 1 more, out and in. Great job. Go ahead and place that left foot down, pedal the feet. Ooh, that feels good to shake it out. And then 4 more heel lifts and toe lifts. So stack the hips over the feet, toes facing forward, nice and tall, shoulders over hips, ears over shoulders. So try not to lean forward here if you can help it. Again, use your chair or whatever you're holding on to for safety. Tippy toe, lower down. Tippy toe, just pause for a second and then lower down. Tippy toe, pause and lower down. 1 more of these, great job. Lift and lower, good. Now the tricky one, soften the knees, and your hips are kind of gonna go back a little bit here, so you will be almost leaning forward. Your hips have to go back in order to make this work anatomically, so that's okay. Lift the toes and lower. 2 more, lift, shift back onto the heels, good, and lower. And 1 more, shift back onto the heels and lower. Good job. Come on back. Just pedal out the feet, shake it out. Maybe grab a drink of water here. This is a nice stopping point. We're gonna move on to a few more dynamic movements. I am gonna move my chair to turn sideways. This way you're gonna be able to see what I'm doing, because we're gonna be kind of stepping forward and back, in front of and behind the chair. So you don't have to move your chair unless you want to, but it'd probably be easier for you to be looking straight ahead. And I'm gonna be demonstrating this from the side. So we're gonna find our outside leg. In this case, this is your right leg, but really it doesn't matter which side you start on as long as you do both sides. So your inside leg right now is left, your outside leg is right. Think of your inside leg as the anchor point. And we're gonna take the outside leg forward and back from around that anchor point. Your left hand is gonna be on your chair again for safety. Even as you step your right foot forward and back, I want you to still be able to touch your chair with your left hand in case you need it. Again, this is just for safety. You don't need to have your hand on the chair the entire time unless you want it there, but you should be able to reach and touch and grab it if you need it, if you begin to feel wobbly. Alrighty, so shoulders over hips here. We're gonna take your outside leg, lift that knee, and extend it forward. Good. Go ahead and bring it back in, and then extend it out. Bring it back in, extend it out. One more time, in and out. Then we're gonna take it and press it behind you. Behind, and then back to center, behind, and back to center. 2 more like that. Press it back, bring it in, and press it back. Bring it in. We're gonna combine those 2 movements together. Ready? Forward, center, and backward, center. Forward, center, and backward, center. 2 more. Forward and back. Try not to rush through these movements. Forward and back. Good. Now you can stay right there, continue that exercise, or you can add on, and we're gonna move into pendulum lunge. Pendulum lunge is a forward lunge. We come back to the center, and then we do a reverse lunge. I'm gonna demonstrate it first, and then you can join me. Ready? Forward, come back to center, and now back. Come back to center. Ready? Forward, come back to center, and now back. Come back to center. You need a fairly big step forward and a fairly big step back. Again, your hand should be able to touch your chair the whole time. 1 more. Whew, shake it out, great job. Alrighty, we're gonna turn around, or you're just gonna flip to the other side of your chair. Good. So inside leg is the anchor point, outside leg is doing the moving forward and back. Stack your shoulders over your hips, lift that outside knee, and press the leg forward. Again, it's really tempting to kind of move a little more quickly, but the slower we move, the more stabilizing muscles we're using. Slow, steady, deliberate movements. Here we go, going to the back. Good. Awesome, 2 more like that. Press behind you. Bring it back to center. Press behind you. Bring it back to center. Combine those 2 movements. Forward, center, back, center. Forward, center, back, center. 2 more. Stand up nice and tall. Good, last one. Good. Now again, if you find the pendulum lunge a little too scary as far as balance-wise, or just uncomfortable on your knees, please feel free to skip it. Just do that forward, center, back that we just did. It's almost the same movement. We're just taking away that impact of landing each time. As you land, do your best to ensure that your knee does not go in front of your toes, particularly on that forward lunge. Sometimes if we don't take a large enough step, we kind of end up with the knee way in front of the shoe, and that can cause some strain on the knee that doesn't feel good and really over time can be injurious. So be mindful here of your knee. Move as slowly as you need to. If you only do 1 or 2 of these, that's awesome. You don't have to do all 6, and you certainly don't have to do them quickly. Be careful, be mindful, be deliberate, and be safe. Again, your right hand should always be able to reach your chair. All right, pendulum lunge, we're gonna do 6 of these. Go at your own pace, take your time. Big step forward, big step back, big step forward, big step back, big step forward, big step back, big step forward, big step back. I'm not 100% sure you can see this. Let me scoot up a little bit. We have 2 more. Forward and back. 1 more. Forward and back. Whew, great job. Shake it out. Isn't it crazy how slow, deliberate movements can be just as challenging, if not more, than those really fast cardiovascular, high intensity movements. All right. Whew. Again, great time to take a break, press pause, grab a drink of water if you need one. We are more than halfway through. We're gonna come into some side to side movements, and then we'll start cooling down. Our first side to side movement is gonna be a squat and step. We're gonna step out to the side. In this case, it's your right leg stepping out. You're gonna land kind of in a V shape, a straddle position with your feet wider than your hips. So this is about shoulder width apart, or maybe even a little more than shoulder width apart. We're gonna squat, knees out wide. We're gonna come up and step in. When you're ready, take your time, join me. Step out, squat down, press up, step in. Step out, squat down, press up, step in. We're gonna do 2 more like that. Squat, lift, step, out, squat, lift, and step. Now we're gonna make that a little more dynamic, pressing right from the squat into the step. So step and squat, come up and in. Whew. Step and squat, come up and in. Step and squat, come up and in. Step and squat, come up and in. We're gonna do the same thing. This time your right foot is gonna come in front of your left foot. Ready? Step and squat, step in front, step and squat. Right foot in front of left. Out, squat, right in front of left. 1 more. Right in front of left. Great job. Alrighty, shake it out. Now we're gonna come into side lunge and balance. One of my favorites here. toes facing forward. We're gonna step out with your right foot. In this case, which is a little different than the step and squat, your right foot is gonna step out, knee and toes are gonna be aimed 45 degrees from your left foot. You're gonna bend your right knee, but you're not gonna bend your left knee. And then you're gonna launch this back in and see if you can hold that right foot up. Again, your chair is there to help you with that part if you need it. And of course, if this doesn't come easily, you can put the tippy toe down. There's no rule against that. Our goal is to step out and then bring it in and balance. Ready? So side lunge, balance, side lunge, balance. Side lunge, balance, side lunge, and balance. 2 more. Remember, your right knee and right toes are pointing in the same direction, slightly away from your left toes. We got 1 more. Good job. Whew. Go ahead and put that left foot down, shake it out. We're gonna do those 2 exercises on the other side. First, we're stepping out into that squat. Ready? Nice and slow. Straddle, squat, lift, and then step. Straddle, squat, lift, and step. Knees are pointing out away from the midline of the body, and so are the toes. 1 more. Lift and step. Now we're making, again, a little more dynamic of a movement. Step out, squat, step in, and hold. Step out, squat, step in, and hold. Again, if this isn't coming naturally, if it's awkward or uncomfortable, or you're not sure about alignment of the knees, just come back to that slower version. Do the one that feels most safe and doable to you. Ready? Here we go. Step and squat, press up and in. Step and squat, press up and in. Step and squat, press up and in. 1 more like that. Up and in. Now we're gonna take your left foot, step it in front of your right. Right here. Woo! Step and squat. Feel your weight kind of moving over to the right, right? And we gotta hold ourselves steady here. Good? 1 more. Good. Come on back. Great job. All right, side lunge and balance. There's 6 of these total. Take your time. Your right foot is facing forward, so this is a neutral position. Right hip, right knee, right toes, all facing forward. Your left leg is gonna step out. Your left toes and left knee moving like a little bit of a diagonal, 45 degrees from your right foot. And then we're gonna come in, hover if you can, put the tippy toe down if that's easier, more comfortable, more safe for you. Use your chair as much as you need to. 6 of these all together. Left knee bends, right knee stays straight. Here we go. Step out, hold it in, step out, hold it in. Here's 3. Notice pause here to really get stable. 3 more. Take your time, find stability here. Good. 5. Good, 1 more. Out and in. Awesome job. Great, great work. Alrighty, we're gonna wind it down here. So those are some really nice kind of relatively simple balance exercises that you can do. If you want any more, let me know. Leave me a comment. Say, what about this? What about that? What about the other? But those are kind of what I like to consider the basics of standing, balance, and stability. Squat and step, pendulum lunge, side lunge, and then those single leg hip mobility exercises, toe lifts and heel lifts. Awesome, amazing job. Please stick with me for about 5 or 6 more minutes, and we're gonna stretch out the lower body. This might seem like extra, and I know you're probably tempted to say, I'm gonna skip that part, but really after all of that stabilizing work, particularly the hips, knees, and ankles, need a little bit of TLC. So we're gonna stretch those guys out. If you would please go ahead and extend your left leg just straight in front of you. Relax the heel on the floor, point the toes up towards the ceiling and hinge forward. And then you're gonna draw your toes, your left foot toes, in towards your body. Imagine if I'm there, I'm gonna take the palm of my hand to the sole of your foot and kind of push it in towards you. Feel how that intensifies the stretch behind the knee, all the way down the calf and even to the ankle. Take about 3 or 4 big, deep breaths here. Great job. Coming up, shoulders over the hips. Step that left foot in. Great. We're going to bring that left foot now over to the top of your right shoe. Turn onto the pinky toe side of your left foot. Let your left knee kind of fall open to the side. Good. This is a figure 4 stretch. If this feels pretty good or pretty easy to you, you can intensify this stretch by taking the left foot and bringing it up to the right thigh. Choose what feels best to you here. Again, once you find your stretch, do your best to relax. Take a couple deep breaths. When you're ready, remove that left foot from the right thigh or the right foot, bring it back down onto the ground. We're gonna turn your body to your right. So you're gonna step your right foot this way, scoot back, bring your left foot behind you and tuck your toes under. We're going for our stretch right here in the front of your left thigh, the hip flexor. So tuck your tailbone. That's that posterior tilt that we practiced in the very beginning. Pull your navel towards your spine and sit up nice and tall. Take a couple deep breaths here. This can get pretty intense. When you're ready, step your left foot up to meet your right foot. Turn back to center. Open up your feet wide. Turn the toes out from the heels. Take the hands to the insides of the thighs and hinge forward. Relax your shoulders and your face. Take some deep breaths. Keep your knees moving away from each other, so out, away from the midline of the body. And go ahead and bring the shoulders back over the hips. Carefully step the feet back to center. And we'll start over on the right side. So your right leg extends out in front of you. Toes are going to point straight up towards the ceiling as you hinge forward. When you feel that stretch in the back of your leg, pause, breathe, and then draw your toes even further in towards your body. So again, imagine maybe I'm pressing on the bottom of your foot. Continue to breathe deeply. Good, bring the shoulders back over the hips. Carefully step that right foot back in. Turn onto the pinky toe side of your right foot. Maybe you stack it on top of the left shoe. Let the right knee fall open. Again, if that feels really good, you can bring that foot up to the right thigh. Either option is great, just do the one that feels best. And it certainly doesn't have to be the same thing you chose on the other side. More than likely, one hip feels different than the other. Great job. After about maybe another breath or two, carefully remove that right foot from wherever it is. And now we'll turn in the opposite direction to your left. Scoot that left thigh back and then step the right foot behind you with the toes tucked under. The knee is just about right below the hip of your right leg. Turn the torso to face your left knee. Sit up nice and tall and then tuck the tailbone. Draw the navel to the spine. Feel how that really gets into that hip flexor as you tuck the tailbone under. And then don't forget to breathe. Again, this can be quite intense. When you're ready, take that right foot, step it forward. Turn back to center. We're gonna take a couple shoulder rolls. Relaxing tension from the upper body. Great job. Turn your gaze, look to your left. Come back to center, look to your right. Come back to center, drop the chin to the chest. Lift the chin. Take a deep breath, reach the arms overhead, and let it all go. Excellent, excellent job. Thank you again so much for joining me. I hope to see you very soon.